Hi everyone. This video I'd like to talk to you about knee injury. I will be creating a series for knee rehab, which is a very long process I went through for almost 2 years, and my experience will be shared in detail with workout and different stages of recovery, the psychology behind an injury, how to get over it, how to recover from it, because it's something that I experienced. So my injury started in Thailand. It's when the body basically says no. I needed a break from having my studio, and I never traveled on my own as on holiday. I've traveled with clients, but never on my own to go just and take a break. And I decided to join a Muay Thai training camp. I practice boxing. I'm very good actually at boxing sometimes, not all the times. And I thought I'm going to be the next Karate Kid. So I joined the boxing camp, registered. I didn't really know that it's going to be intense, because they did say that it's level 1, level 2, level 3. So my body was quite tired, and when I arrived in Thailand the first day, and after flying for however many hours, the owner of the gym, the camp, told me that I should join the evening camp. And knowing me, because I can't say no, or I want to actually do it, and that's it, and I'm very excited about the whole thing, I joined the first workout. The first workout was a little bit of a wow, but I loved every second of it. So yes, the way it works, so you start with a running, road run they call it, and then after road run you go back to the camp and you do circuits of high intensity and interval training, which includes abdominals, press up, punches in the air, shadow boxing, and then you start practicing your boxing technique, and then you do sparring. Even at a beginner level, that's what we were doing, and you do that basically twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. So after a few days, actually in the first week of my arrival, my knee said no. I was kicking pads that day in the morning. My body was feeling a bit jet lagged, and I should have stayed at home and enjoyed the day on the island, but I didn't. And I was running the last person. Basically, usually I'm very fast all the time, and I was running behind everyone, so the trainer was pushing me, come to the front, come to the front. And when I got to the camp, I did the whole session, and you get stuck into the mood of and the adrenaline and all of that rush, and you feel like I want to do more, and I feel powerful. But sometimes there's a disconnection between actually what your body can do and what your mind can do, and this is the point where we sometimes need to actually be aware, and that is the point where I didn't take into consideration that I should have stopped. Why am I sharing this with you? Hopefully to inspire you, first of all, how to recover from an injury, because it's not an easy thing for somebody like me who's in the world of movement, and for a normal person who is not in the world of fitness, it can be very limiting, because when you go and do your rehab, the physiotherapist just tells you do squats and lunges and that kind of stuff, which actually doesn't do anything for you. It gives you a little bit of maybe strengthening the muscles, but there is so much more, so much more. In some countries, physio is better than others. Some physios in this country, in the UK, they are better than others if they work with footballers, or if they work with athletes, or with dancers, they approach injury differently. So again, that's something to think about when you consider your recovery. And I'm also sharing it because I have strengthened my own knee during COVID. And in fact, some of the videos on this channel were filmed when I'm not fully recovered yet. The beginning of this channel, it was all actually filmed when sometimes I had to stop when the knee was feeling a bit okay. Again, this is where the mind can go past the body. So basically, on that day of the injury, I did all my training, and then I got to, the trainer wanted to push me a little bit more, and he said kicking pads time. So I kicked however many kick with my right leg. It was super strong, kicked fine, no problem. And then I got to my left leg. I think after it was the 7th kick where I had no more strength. So what I did is I kind of pushed myself off the ground to kick with that left leg. Then my right foot stepped on the floor like this, and then the ankle rolled in, and then the knee went in. And I've never had an injury in my life. It felt a little bit, ow, this is what I felt, but I didn't know that actually I've torn it. I asked everyone at the camp, what is this? What does this mean? They said, put some ice, you know, and it took me a few days to realize that's it. I had an x-ray, the doctor there said, you need to stop my Thai. And I stayed there, I trained seated, I got my crutches, started walking around the island and on crutches, which was also an experience, again an experience of looking at the world from a vulnerable perspective. It's a completely different experience, which I hope that if you ever bump into somebody injured, make sure, just be aware of how vulnerable they feel, whether by helping them out or maybe slowing down when they walk, or just be mindful that that person can be struggling with strength and with mental strength. So I continued training seated. I spent there 5 weeks nearly. I flew back from Koh Samui on a wheelchair to Thailand, to Bangkok, from Bangkok to London, and it actually hit me that I was injured when I landed in London, because the wheelchair was waiting for me and I'm being pushed around. And I used to sometimes be walking out of the airport and thinking it would be nice to be in one of those small cars. That was the moment that I needed it. I hated it. It's not I hated it, but I thought I much prefer to be using my legs. I could hear somebody actually saying, I wish I was sitting in front instead of her. I wanted to tell her, no, you don't wish that. But, and that was the beginning of everything that changed. Well, it happened at a time where the world stopped, which was COVID. I had the choice of not operating, and then I decided to operate. And because I needed the fear factor to stop, because as I started going around London with crutches, although I was able to walk without, because I did my own rehab, I started feeling vulnerable. And that feeling of vulnerability, actually gradually it increased. It didn't get less. The more I went through months of rehab, and I was lucky to get my operation much earlier, much sooner than it was supposed to be. I received a call, it was magical, because I wished it on that day and it happened, and I had my operation in November before COVID, and then COVID started. So COVID, lockdown, knee injury, I was training myself to do nothing and learn how to watch Netflix. I've never watched Netflix before, or a series, or got into anything that's on TV. I don't have that time or maybe the patience for it. And my friend who I live with, she suggested that I watch Murray's recovery and his way of dealing with injury, and it was quite inspiring and quite motivating, also hard. All of these things that you don't actually take into consideration, they become difficult at some times, because you just want the leg to be stronger. What I was amazed with was how the body reacted to the injury. Everything switched off. I had no arches in my foot. I had no muscles here. Everything dropped. It's like as if I've never worked out in my life. My buttock muscle here also completely disconnected and flattened. It's like not flattened as in to talk about beauty and shape. More, there's nothing. And the operation went very well. The doctor said that you have a really good knee, look after it. I wouldn't kick from this stage onwards, which I don't kick till now. I can do everything, and I don't want to kick because I gave up my dream of the Karate Kid, but I still do martial arts. Anyway, so then my operation went well, and stages of recovery started happening. I needed help. I was lucky to be with friends who looked after me very well, because in this stage you are basically unable to move, and I was so lucky, touch wood, that I didn't have any swelling. I was even amazed that my knee could bend all the way in. I actually kept, my worry was that, oh my God, I tore it again, because it's impossible that it's bending that much. Sometimes I resisted my exercises because they were boring. I wanted to do more. But then when you start, this is when there's another lesson, which is not only I'm looking at this injury from a professional perspective, looking at it from, is this a test for my patients? How am I gonna be patient and actually enjoy the process? So what I found myself started doing, because I'm a professional and I hear so many people had so many setbacks, including my brother, my father, Pilates teachers who've injured themselves, I decided not to have setbacks. And that was a very good decision, because it kept me in that safe zone where I didn't rush and follow my head. I followed my head back when I was in Thailand. So I started slowing down and thinking, you know what, let me actually enjoy this. How many times do I give myself that time to do nothing or just chill? And that's when I started looking at my doctor's notes. In future videos, I will share or talk about the psychology of an injury, how to beat it, how to get over certain fears, what to do when you have those fears, and how to stay motivated to get through it. I'm just like any normal person. In fact, a normal person might not think of all of these things as in, I need to get back. They might just actually, it might be easier for them because they don't go into details of the body. And they think, okay, the doctor gave me this, I'll just do it. Now for me, I'm observing, when is my hip going to be moving and do all these leg kicks and the ballet kicks and all of that, which I was incapable of. I realized and I noticed interesting stuff that happens in the spine, in the back, when the hip gets weak. How everything affects everything. We study it, we know it, we teach it to others, but when it's your body, you get to understand in depth, you feel it. And there is nothing better than feeling something. And that's why I feel I have something to share with you. Not just a biology lesson, not just a Pilates lesson, it's a personal experience with, touch wood, a successful recovery. Yesterday I was doing some strength and conditioning workout. I was connected to an elastic band and I was running against that elastic band to the center of the room, and it's trying to pull me back. The power that I had in my legs, and when I just thought for a minute, I can stop watching myself in the mirror. I should try, that's it, my knee's fine. I shouldn't worry anymore. So I'm going to start with the exercises, but I'm going to show you only a couple. So you leave your hospital. If you have that injury, you have your crutches. The doctor says you can hop even on your foot. You get home, you're rested, the leg will be stretched over a pillow with a lot of bandage here, and basically initially, because of the swelling, it can't really straighten too much. So the first thing of what I would advise you to do is movement of your ankle. So what you want, this was my injured knee, so pointing and flexing. Pointing and flexing. So you want movement in your limb, and usually you do both, you don't just do the injured leg. Point and flex. Point, do as many as you can, or you can do 12, 15, stop, give it a quick rest, do another point and flex, point and flex. So when you flex, when you're injured, this will not really connect as you flex. For now, I feel when I point, I can lift my kneecap up But in the injury, that doesn't happen. So you want to try to, even if you go gently on your knee like this and move it around, to bring some energy into the injured joint. And we call it proprioception, so basically just for the nerves to start connecting. So let's say you've done 3 sets of 20, and actually don't bother like counting or whatever. Do as many as you can until you can't anymore, and then we can start circling the ankles. And believe me, this is a lot for an injured person, because the body gets a little bit tired initially, again depending on the level of pain. So you go circling in and circling out. You can do 10 in, 10 out, 10 in, 10 out, or 20, 20. Then you have the pressing of the knee joint down, which was, sometimes it made me giggle that I didn't have it. How can I do it? The doctor would tell me, you can do it, press it, you press it. There's a muscle, the vastus medialis here, it disappears, so you want to activate that. She used to tell me, look at the other leg and do it. It's like, this will do it, no problem, and that wouldn't. But that is an exercise. So again, you can roll a towel, place it here, and just press down and release. Press, release. Press, release. Press. You see here how the muscle is contracting? I didn't have this muscle. It was funny looking at my leg and thinking, where are my muscles? It's true. It was, where are my muscles? What happened? It's a lot. Press, 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 push, press, push. So now my muscles are getting quite contracted and I can feel it around here. And then from there, you can put your elbows like this. You press it down. So for example, if sitting up is too much, you're going to be doing this while you're lying down, press it, release. Obviously you are on your bed. Press, release. So that's why it's good to put something under that knee, because the mattress usually is soft when you do press. Now, when you become advanced, and this is advanced, you press, lift, release it. Press it, lift, and release it. Press, lift, and release. Here we are talking level 1. This is the second day after you leave hospital. Once your swelling goes, you can start doing this. Again, it feels harder than what it is when you are still in that state. So you will know, okay, I can do it now. But don't try not to say, oh, I can't, or I can't be bothered, or it's going to get better. No, it needs you. Your knee needs you, your body needs you. So it's that mind-body connection that you are actually firing up in this stage. The movement of the nerve. So because what the body does to protect itself even more, it deactivates the muscles because it can recognize injury, so you don't injure yourself further. So that's what you are firing up, your connection. So this is your first session in knee recovery. I will be filming sporadically. It will be in Body Lab and on Body by Lyra TV. The workout will be in Body Lab, but the description is going to be on Body by Lyra TV. So follow through, let me know what you think, and if you have any injury or any concerns, please get in touch, and I'm here to support you, and ask me any questions. Thank you very much for following, and I'll see you soon.